The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.
No path to a billion-dollar brand is ever the same. We've heard plenty of rags to riches stories over the last 100 episodes. Tales of young entrepreneurs with enormous dreams and enough passion to make those dreams come true. But I think it's fair to say that the seed that planted this brand had no idea how huge it would grow. It's a story that will take us from World War II and Nazi Germany to the United States during the 1970s disco era. It's a story of family, friction, and in some ways, more than anything, the story of frugalness. And that's why this week's On Brand is on Aldi.
You're all jazzed up, really having a cow. You want your favorite show and it's on right now. It's on brand.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa.
I'm Jon.
I'm Marisa. Wow.
Wow. So you may have heard we have 2.5 legendary lost episodes. One on Aldi, one on Dr. Seuss, and not a real one on Coca-Cola. So I dusted off the old, okay, full disclosure, the company says it's pronounced Aldi. I have said Aldi.
Interesting.
Forever. It's like Bjork. I'm going to say Bjork. It's really Bjork, but I'm always going to say Bjork.
Sure.
I'll try to say it right, but more than likely I'll always say Aldi.
Wow.
So here's the deal. I'm still in Ohio. We recorded out of timeline a little bit. I'm in Ohio, and I got deathly sick this week. I had norovirus. I puked for 12 hours straight. I had not picked a brand. We were supposed to record. I was not prepared. And I was like, you know what? I should dust off Aldi because I've already done the research. Well, I pulled up the old Aldi file, and it was in the first 10 episodes. I approached the show very differently in the top 10.
Interesting. How so?
It was only like 3.5 or 4 pages, which I'm sure David and Alistair would love. But it was like just bullet points. It was
Wow.
They went to Nazi Germany. And I'm like, there was much less of a story.
Tell me the tale. Where are their clip clops?
Yeah, there's no clip clops. I had no idea if they were hot or not. It was so different. It was very interesting to see like just the beginnings of us putting this show together. So
it's certainly evolved, yeah.
I knew parts of the story, but it basically ended up me doing what I normally do anyway, and then having to do it. I literally wrote the show in one night, which I've never done before.
Mm. It's also so long ago that I'm wondering, like, gosh, I remember some of it, but I'm sure, especially if you're more in depth now. And this was when we actually went to Aldi together.
I know. I have that I put that in my notes for this show. Like, this is back when we used to go on field. We'd be like, hey, are you free at like 3:00? Let's go to Aldi. And
yeah.
I picked this, I think, because at the time, because someone may have suggested, I don't even know if we had enough listeners then that were talking to us to suggest things then, maybe. So yeah, we had never been. And now, I like this store. So I'm coming into it so differently. Before I was a complete virgin.
That's so funny.
I know. So it's like it's such a different beast to tackle this time.
And I haven't been because there's not one really close by. I haven't been since we went together, and I wish there was, because I see it pop up. I see all the cool products. I see the aisle of shame, and I'm like, oh gosh, I wish it was like just a little bit closer.
I know. And it was funny. I was looking, my notes were dated March of 2023. We didn't even start putting the pod out until May of 2023. So this was like, that's why we kind of ditched a couple episodes, because we banked like 8 or so. Mm-hmm. And by the time we started releasing them, like our style had already changed before we got to release these. So now I would almost want to hear it. It would be funny to hear if it feels thin to me or interesting, or if I feel like we've grown as podsters,
as people,
as humans.
Jon, before we get into the show, you dropped a little video yesterday on our Instagram story that you were at Trader Joe's, I'm assuming at the crack of dawn, to get the hot new bag.
Okay, for those that weren't listening, I just told Marissa I don't feel like the tote bag story is interesting, but sure. Okay, so
you don't. There's a lot of things you don't think are interesting that we somehow find something interesting about.
Right. So, okay. So as we all know, Trader Joe's has totes. I like totes. They have two different kinds of totes. They have a miniature version of their canvas tote, and they have a miniature version of their insulated tote. I think the one that we talked about that became really funny where I didn't care, but then I ended up with 8. Those are the insulated totes. And then the second, I realized I don't even like the insulated totes that much. It was more just like the thrill of buying and getting things.
And I do think we should do a giveaway on that.
I'll definitely give one of those away. Not to you ever, but to a listener.
Oh, you know what? I'll enter the giveaway and we'll see if I win. How about my name gets on the giveaway wheel, and if I win, fair and square, I get one.
100%. I am okay with that.
Okay, great.
So, and with those, even when the second batch came out, I didn't care. I didn't buy any that time.
Mm-hmm.
But now the canvas totes, I have a real soft spot for.
They actually kind of look like the LL Bean little mini boat tote.
Wait, here, hold.
Oh, yeah, grab it.
So this is from the first batch. They released 4, and they're just tiny and they're cute. I use bags of this size for when I'm traveling, I'll use them for my toiletries because it's really easy just to throw everything in here. Got a little pocket. You can I love them. They're cute.
Any
and small.
inner compartments in that, or is it just a wide open vessel?
Just one. It's like it's a wide open vessel.
Great.
So the first batch that came out were primary colors.
Wait, let me ask. How many did you buy in the first batch? Because you just pulled up one that's canvas, so it's like off-white, and then it has navy straps and a little red embroidered Trader Joe's logo. It's very cute, looks very classic. How many did you buy? You just said you love primary colors. You pulled up a navy. What are we talking about, Jon? Jon's head is in his hands. I fear he's crying.
I'm going to be very honest right now.
Great. Thank you.
I was so grateful
that
this question has never come up. And I'm going to do something that I've never done before on brand.
Great.
For the time being, I'm going to refuse to answer.
Jon, you started that sentence with saying, I'm going to be honest.
Yes, I'm being honest. I'm going to refuse to answer. I will let people guess how many I bought of the first batch.
The first batch.
The first batch.
Blue, red, and yellow?
Blue, red, yellow, and like a hunter green.
Okay.
I mean, they're perfect. They're perfect. I think that they would be, I love gift giving. That's why I bought 20 rolls of wrapping paper. Would there be anything better than getting a gift in one of these?
That would be a great housewarming gift, a great baby shower gift. You could put some diapers in there, a jelly cat.
Well, the ones that came out this week are perfect for that because they're pastels. But and listen, will I ever become the person that does this? I don't know. I've seen people, they'll have a name embroidered on here in the same color as this stitch. I'll give it to my Don't. I don't know why you're laughing.
I don't know why. You're right. That's a really good point. Why am I laughing? That's a really good point. I don't know. Maybe I accidentally tickled my funny bone.
So sure. So I bought those batch. And the reason that batch was fun, this batch was the beginning of the Trader Joe's mini totes.
Sure. So just to be clear, you're putting it up for a vote. Like if people can guess how many you bought, and then you'll reveal the answer in the next episode. Like we could make a poll on Instagram. How many do you think you bought? 1 to 2? We have to assume you bought every color, so 3 to 4, if that, or 5 plus, maybe.
I don't know how that's not what this moment is about. This moment's about the second batch. So let's try to focus on the today. I don't like to live in the past. And let's just say I would have to visit the storage unit
to count?
To confirm.
Oh, okay. That feels like that really, if it was 3, I think you would know that.
No one listening to this show thinks I didn't get every color at least twice. Like, no one is starting with less than 8. If you are, get to know me. Go back and listen to the shows. Nobody is starting at less than 8.
For the record, you said this is not an interesting story. Okay, so then there's the new batch that came out. These are in like Easter colors. So you have like light pink. I think it's light pink, light yellow, lavender.
I was hoping
baby
it was a
blue?
yellow. It was pink, lavender, blue, and baby blue, and like minty green.
Okay.
And people were sending them to me, of course, because now it's canon that I like these bags. And people
You
started
say
sending...
like rolling your eyes as if it's not true. Everybody like thinks I'm like obsessed with these bags.
Everyone's trying to force these bags on me.
Uh-huh.
So people up like 2 months ago are like, did you see what's coming out? And I'm like, pastels? No thanks. Don't care.
okay.
Ugly. But then, of course, that's what happens. I'm like, time will go on. I'm like, pastels, those are kind of cute. That'd make a nice Easter basket. You like to leave an Easter basket out for yourself and wake up and be like, did he come?
The bunny came.
The bunny came.
Leave a carrot for the bunny, John.
So, yeah. So these came out. And so I'm in Ohio. Ohio has, I mean, they have more than one, but really one Trader Joe's. I'm from
Really?
LA where there's like 70 Trader Joe's.
Wow.
There's, I think, actually 2 here that are drivable, but the other one's in Kentucky and it's like 30 miles away. I don't consider that one. So there's one. It
That's
happens
crazy.
to be 5 minutes from where I stay here
Mm-hmm.
at my sister's house. So I did call them when I got into town.
You're
Just to
you're
see.
not calibrated to normalcy. You know what I mean? Like to you that's like not a blip. I'm telling you, like, you know how like a scale, like if you stand on it, it's like, oh, it's like 3 pounds off. There's that little wheel in the back where you can adjust it like to reset it to 0. The normal, the reset, the like not interesting is like they like, oh, I was there anyway. I was grocery shopping and they had them and I like bought one. Like that's like, yeah, I mean, I kind of are into that. This is interesting. It is unique to you. You
But to me,
called
it's-
your first when you landed in Ohio.
Before I got off the plane, I was like, "Doot, doot, doot." No, I'm kidding. That was very early in the morning. But
Okay.
no, within the first couple of days,
Okay.
I checked. Yeah, who wouldn't check in? I just needed to know. I didn't know when they were coming out because I had asked my Trader Joe's a couple of weeks ago and she didn't seem to have a date. And I assumed it would be around Easter because they're very Eastery.
Yes.
So I called and he was like, oh, they're coming out on the 10th. He's like, and we're getting a lot of them. I was like, okay, I'm from California and people like line up and it's a thing. And I don't, you have one Trader Joe's here. He's like, oh, we're getting a lot. It should not be a big deal.
Oh,
I was
great.
like, cool, no
Great.
problem. Great. Because I will say, I do tip my hat to Trader Joe's for that. When they get something that goes viral, they don't re-release it in a small quantity just to keep that hype going. They're like, oh,
Yes.
people like these, we'll make a ton of them.
I do love that. And now the insulated mini totes, I've seen them there. Like
I know.
they'll be around.
Yeah, they're trash, and those colors suck. I gotta ditch these 8, but none to you unless you win the wheel.
Unless I win the wheel. Fair and square.
So they're coming out on the 10th. That's yesterday. So they're coming out on Thursday. So then I'm sick and I'm in bed and I'm going through TikTok and I start seeing TikToks of people having this bag on the 8th. And I was like, oh no, they released them early. So I called Trader Joe's in my illness.
Okay.
And I was like,
in
oh,
between
hey,
barfs.
in between barfs. And I was like, hey, I just wanted to see. I'm sure you're getting a lot of calls, but did the tote come out? She's like, oh yeah, they were sold out by 10:30. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. She's like, but we're getting another batch in tomorrow and another batch in for at least 2 more days. So then, you should be fine.
So it's not just like a, I wonder sometimes, is this like a local, like a California thing, or like I guess everything kind of information spreads so quickly from like TikTok or Instagram, whatever, that a phenomenon like this could make its way to this one Trader Joe's in Ohio. Was it a line around the block? Was it the same level of like
She said on the day that it sold out by 10:30, the line was around the store.
Oh, okay. Wow.
In Ohio.
Wow.
Yeah. And, you see videos in, like, some parts of the country. Some people, it's like they're almost proud. They're like, tons of them in my store, and we don't care about them. And other people are like, can anyone get me one? I'm in Colorado, and the nearest Trader Joe's is 6 hours away. It's like every kind of, like, personality on these. So I was like, I do want them. I need to complete the collection.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like pastels. I will say I keep a...
Originally, when you saw pastels, you were like, pastels, yuck.
I know. Here's the thing with pastels. I like it. This is such a random specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like metallic pastels.
Really?
Yeah, like... like the old iPads? They were like the metal ones. They came in like pink, like a metallic
The iPods,
pastel.
yeah.
Oh, sorry,
iPods, yeah.
The
I
iPods,
know what you mean. Yeah, where you get
Like
the color.
Yeah, and they had like a pink one that I loved.
Mhm.
I love Easter candy. Like I love not eating it, but I have like a bowl of like Easter Rolos on my table all year because I love like the metallic blue and okay, what?
John,
You're laughing again.
the sentence, I have a bowl of Easter Rolos on my table all year because I like the metallic.
Yeah? Yeah, what? I don't understand.
I'll say...
You can keep driving. This is not anything to pull over
okay,
for.
I'm just going to say it's called a spectrum.
Okay. Wow.
It's a spectrum, okay?
Well, let's just say we're all on it. Why don't you go have something shipped from Old Navy? So I decided that I did want them. So then I was sick. I was in bed for a full day, and then I was in bed for a second day, and the second day I was recuperating. And for some reason that night, not because of the Trader Joe bags, I could not sleep. I could not sleep.
Coincidentally, on the eve of the box cutter hitting the tape, you could not shut your eyes to rest, knowing that the very next morning, I mean, you don't even have to set an alarm. Your eyes are opening.
I promise it had nothing to do with that. I have not had a night like that in so long. It is such a crappy thing. And I will tell you, side note, something new going on with me that's never happened that started that night. I am like laying in bed. I'm turning into AI. So like, like if you if your eyes are closed and like close your eyes.
Okay.
Like, okay, you see how you see patterns?
Yeah, like lights
like there's
and
like
stuff.
black and like light and there's shapes and stuff.
Yeah.
So that night, like those shapes started to turn into stories. And it sounds like I'm high. I didn't even take any medicine for this disease.
I know, but I'm like, you are probably like severely dehydrated or something. You had been throwing up for 24 hours. I think you were hallucinating, as there's a word for this. Hallucination.
It is possible. It is possible. But my sister did provide me. I drank a lot of Gatorade, which I gotta say, Gatorade. I know I hate it in your show, but Gatorade when you're dehydrated is one of the best things on the planet.
What color? I don't say flavor.
Red.
Color. Red. Yes, red's the best one. Yes.
Red was the best one. Mm-hmm. So I ate several little those little oranges. So I do feel like, and water. I felt like I stayed hydrated. Okay. Anyway, so I'm dreaming in AI. I couldn't fall asleep. Those things were trippy. Like it was almost like a nonstop. Just it kept morphing into different things. It was crazy.
Wow.
So 7:00 came around. I'm like,
You've been awake all night till 7 a.m.
Yes, I'm now up for 36 hours after puking for like and being sick and all this, and I'm like delirious, and I'm like, it's 7:00. Trader Joe's opens at 8. I may as well just go get it out of the way. I'll go get coffee and I put it in the fridge for later. I'll get my bags and then I'll try to go back to sleep. Even though I had to meet my sister at like probably 9 or 10, whatever. So I go to Trader Joe's. Mind you, she told me the day before, line around the building. Mm-hmm. Get to Trader Joe's at like 7:30. One car in the parking lot. No one even standing by the building.
Okay.
So then I just sat in my car for half an hour. By the time it opened, like 10 people got in line. One person did come. The last person to come, I was gonna get out of my car because it was cold, about 10 till, and go stand at the door. The last person that comes, like car 15, like just parks and goes straight to the door. And I'm like, girl, I know it doesn't matter, but bitch, I'm first.
We've been here.
We've been here. So she went back to her car to get her coat. And while she went to go get her coat, I just went and got first in line. And I could just tell she was like, what? So that made me happy. So they...
Also, it makes no difference, first or second in line.
It makes no difference. They're not going to run out. It makes zero difference at all. But you said I'm wired differently. Those are the ways I know that I'm wired differently.
Yes.
So they let us in. It was very orderly. They had a limit of 6. So I got 6. And then
what?
That was it. That's it. Like...
You got 6. Okay, yeah, great.
In that first transaction, I got 6.
Okay, you got 6.
I got 2. I got all 4 colors, and then I got an extra pink and an extra purple.
Great. So
'cause I
you're
like those
done. You
colors the
got
best.
6. That's great. Plus the undisclosed amount of the original bags you have, which, as we know, is now too vast to identify at a glance. The number.
Yeah, so I got those 6,
And
like I
then-
said, and then I left and I went home, and then I did sleep for about 5 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Then I got dressed, and then I went to meet my sister.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, going to meet my sister, I did drive past Trader Joe's again. So I thought I would just pop in and see if they sold out. I did get 6 more on that trip. So now I have a full set of 4 3 times because I needed it, because I need 2 of each for myself, and then I need another 4 to go with 4 of the original so I can sell a set of 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then that is it. So I have 12.
Of the pastel.
Yes.
And we don't know how many you have of the original color.
I don't.
Jon, that's a really fun story. I can't believe you thought there would be nothing interesting about that. I hope people enjoy the bag drama as much as I do, because boy, it tickles me.
I hope they do too. I do not find it very interesting.
Of course you don't. You're in your brain all the time. You can't tell what's interesting about you.
Okay, yeah. Well, if anybody finds it interesting, I'm glad. I mean, that's what we're here for. I'm sure you do interesting things as well. Me, I buy 12 bags. And it's ironic because I'm going through my mom's stuff right now, just to help her kind of downsize and organize stuff. And she is me. I am her. We are the same. I'll open a box and I'll be like, oh, you needed 12 metal Coca-Cola tins, I see, that are all the exact same. And oh my God, I'm my mom. So what I'm doing right now, you will be doing for me at some point in the future.
That's right. That's right. I'm ready. Well, it'll be a hell of an estate sale, I'll tell you that much.
God, that is what depresses me more than anything, the thought of my own estate sale, because the worth that I put on these things versus what I know that they will sell for is so depressing.
You should do it while you're still alive.
Here's
so you can
what I
price
have.
it at what you want it at.
Oh, that's just a garage sale.
Yeah.
I guess. Maybe I'll just have a garage sale.
Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Find yourself looking for a new job or change in career? Monster.com is here to help. We are not only here to bring you job postings, but also AI interview prep and salary tools, expert career advice, and top-notch resume services. We've got everything you need to land your perfect job fit. Discover the magic of finding the ideal job with Monster.com. Your future starts now. Visit Monster.com today. Your next job opportunity is just a click away.
All right, so Aldi. So we did have, I think, one of our freaks on Discord write us and say that he or she or they would love an episode on Aldi other than Costco. It's my most visited store. That was from DH. And then we had Burger Crag Adam write that he was also an Aldi fan. I did not do this for you, but since you mentioned it, I will give you shout outs because I would like to get better. I wish some of these things were easier to search because some people give a suggestion 2 years ago and we eventually will get to it. I would love to give them a shout out just because I know that it's something that they like. So
it's sometimes hard too to track if somebody says something on Instagram or Discord to remember where it came from. If we ever forget to give you a shout out and there's something we're saying that you said, write us and we'll make a note of it so that we can give you a proper shout out. Because that sometimes haunts me. I'm like, oh, I know somebody sent that in and I didn't say their name. So yeah, it's shout outs are free.
I don't think we can ever get blamed for not trying to give shout outs. I think we're kind of the shout out kings and queens of this genre.
That's great.
We want everyone to be seen and heard.
Absolutely.
All right. So what is Aldi? Simply put, it's a multinational family-owned discount supermarket chain.
Simple enough. Yeah, we know what that is.
It has some unusual choices. It's got a wide selection of goods, everything from onions to viral shoes. It's got a cult following. It's very popular with millennials who elected Aldi as their top choice market in 2023.
Interesting.
So I think when Aldi first hit my radar, It was in Ohio. There was like one that randomly showed up in Ohio, kind of by my dad's house. I didn't know anything about it. It looked kind of like bland. It didn't have like crazy sort of like design or anything like that. And for some reason, I don't know if I just decided it or I learned it. I felt like it was kind of like a sad grocery store. It was kind of like the poor man's grocery store. So for me, the story is kind of like, how did it go from like me thinking that, and I'm assuming I'm not the only person. I think that was kind of a general consensus for a lot of people, to becoming kind of like now, kind of a hip place to be.
Sure,
it's like,
yeah.
Kids like it. It's got really good food, believe it or not. Like a lot of their food is great. It's award winning. It's cheap. And now I'm kind of really in their camp. I'm kind of Team Aldi. So
they even have like such a cult following that like if they have their branding on like a tracksuit or whatever, it'll sell out, or a keychain, or a hat, shoes, a bucket, whatever. Like people want to wear the brand and represent the brand. And I feel like we talked about this a little bit with Poppy. I feel like this is also it too. If you say, instead of saying, oh, I'm going to the grocery store, if you say, oh, I'm going to Aldi, you want to like kind of claim that brand. Like it feels like it represents something positive. Oh, I'm going to Trader Joe's. Oh, you know what I mean? Rather than, oh, I'm going to the grocery store. Like if you're going to a not so fun grocery store, my least favorite grocery store in the world is Vaughn's. I'm just going to say, oh, I have to go run an errand. I'm not going to name drop Vaughn's. You know what I mean? But if I'm talking to my friend, oh, I went to Trader Joe's. It's like, oh, fun. What'd you get? Or, oh, I'm going to Aldi. Oh my gosh, like that's so cool. What'd you find? Like, it definitely has. Whatever their branding, marketing, they have done something really unique with it. And for a grocery store, something that is just like purely a utilitarian, purely an errand place, to make it like embodying a lifestyle and have like a culture of its own feels really rare. Like imagine like a bank doing that, like the Capital One Cafe in our neighborhood. This something they tried to make like a place to be. Like, oh, instead of saying, oh, I'm going by the bank, I'm going to the Capital One Cafe. It seems like a Herculean task to try to turn something that's seen as just like discount, you get in, you get out, you're doing your shopping, you're buying your food, into like something that feels like it stirs up feelings of pleasure in you.
Wow.
Well said, me.
There's the show. And that's why this episode.
I don't really remember the journey. I know about the Italian. Are they Italian?
Well, yeah, you'll
yes,
find all that out in like the next
me.
like 10 seconds.
Are they hot?
You know, I don't consider hot, but you know, if you don't follow us on Instagram, please do, because we do put supplementals of every episode on Instagram. And I tend to always put pictures of the founder when I can get them and decide on that, whether or not I think they're hot or not.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough sometimes.
Because sometimes I want to be like, it's cut and dry. Usually I'm like, they're hot or they're not. And I want to be like, you know, they're attractive, they're fine, but
or maybe they were like a good man, you know.
They were a solid man. All right, so in 1913, we have this woman, her name's Anna Albrecht, and she opens a small grocery store in Germany. She's got two sons, Karl and Theo, and they're both enlisted in World War II for Nazi Germany.
Oh, dear.
That's just, I mean,
it's how it was. Sure.
It's just how it was. Yeah. So Karl ends up getting injured. Theo ends up getting captured by Allies and held as prisoner of war. And then they both end up returning home. At that point, their mom is older and she's ready to pass the business on to them. They're of age now, that she's been doing this for 30 years. She's ready for them to take over. So the brothers do, and they come up with this kind of, at least what it said there. I always get hesitant, and usually will take it out when people say it's the first of anything, but it's claimed to be the first ever known discount store in Germany. I mean, that doesn't seem that unplausible that in 1945 there weren't other discount stores.
But also, like, what's like qualifies it as like a discount store? Like, it's like every store was probably as affordable as it could be. You know what I mean? Like, sure, you're the first. Great, whatever you need to get by. Yes.
And so it was a no-frill store, and they're selling mostly non-perishable goods at cheap prices. And it's just like a really small, nondescript shop. And in just 4 years, they had managed to expand that business to 13 stores. So, you know, that's great that they're growing 3 stores a year. and they decide to name the stores Albrecht Discount, which is German. Forgive my German if you're from Germany or speak German, but it's Albrecht. I'm assuming, Albrecht Discount.
Mm-hmm. I'm hearing, is that discount in there? I think I'm hearing discount.
Well, it looks exactly like discount. It's
Sure,
D-I-S-K-O-N-T. It's like everything in Germany, again, no offense, I'm half German, but like for some reason, German language feels so like harsh and like kind of dark to me, probably because of the whole shadow of Nazism and
of which these brothers celebrated,
which they fought for. So
participate in. We don't know happily or reluctantly. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
But
know.
I'm hearing Albert. I'm hearing an Al. I'm hearing a D. Aldi.
Babe, you can't blow my nut. That's not for like.
I think maybe people could catch that.
That's not for like another paragraph.
Forget I said.
No, leave it in, Al. This is what happens when you do a show twice. So these guys, they refuse to spend any money on advertising or in-store decorations, and they ruthlessly, which we are familiar with up to this day, remove any poor-selling item from their inventory. The store today, even, when the first time we went there, I bought these chicken fried steaks, which is so like low rent, but they were so good.
I remember you raving about these chicken fried steaks.
They were so good. And then I went back and like, oh, that was a limited buy. We only got them once. You'll never see those again.
If you had known your freezer, forget about it. Stuffed to the gills.
My one freezer, I would have put a freezer in the storage unit.
Move over, man witch. There's a new bitch in town.
Exactly. So their model was working and they grew steadily and they developed a very loyal following. And within just only another 5 years, they had grown to over 100 stores. Oh, and here's the sentence. Do you want to take it? Here, I'll cue it up.
Okay.
You put it. 1961, they were ready for a name change and changed Albrecht Discount to
Aldi.
Vaughn's. Yes, Aldi.
Yay!
You did it. For some reason, that was giving it's like Kentucky Fried Chicken, moved to KFC, Dunkin' Donuts, went to Dunkin', Apple Computers.
Yeah, what do
Apple.
they charge per letter or something? Come on.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of companies go through this moment where they're like, though I gotta say, I feel like in America, Aldi is probably a much better suited name than Albrecht Discount.
Yeah, I would say so. But it could have been something like the sign painter. It was like there's not it'll cost like $10 to write Albrecht Discount. It'll cost $4 to write Aldi.
That is true. I wasn't thinking it is a different time, and keeping in the budget for sign painting is something that we should always keep in mind.
We should.
Trader Joe's, I bring up TikTok way too much, but for a while I was getting a lot of feeds of a Trader Joe's sign painter. What an interesting job.
That is so cool.
It's so cool because you're allowed to have like your own flair, but there's certain things you definitely have to stay within their parameter. I think the 9s all have to be the same everywhere. Like there's definitely a consistency, but then they do get certain signs where they kind of have like free will, but they all have, no matter which one you go to, they all have this like stylized coolness about them.
I love the signs at Trader Joe's. So fun.
Yeah, and it's fun watching the process of it. They use these special markers and like how much they can manipulate it and having to go over things like with highlight colors. I don't know. I find any artistic endeavor I really enjoy watching the process of.
Those markers are great. I've had to make a lot of posters for like PTA stuff, and I would say it because like at Trader Joe's I would take pictures of the signs that I liked so that I could kind of see like, oh yeah, how do they do like the shadow and the highlight, because it looks so bold and like eye-catching.
Yeah.
And then I even looked up like what markers they use. They're called Posca. They're like a POSCA, very cool brand. They're kind of pricey, but you get like a pack of 6 of those and you can make a lot of really bold signs. I would say if anybody of sign making is a part of your, even twice a year, if you have to make like a yard sale sign or a lemonade stand sign, invest in some Posca markers and you could be your very own Trader Joe's. You could have your little Trader Joe's sign moment.
Hashtag Posca markers. See, we should be getting if anyone buys them, send us $1. This is why when you go, you guys have not seen Marissa's Kitchen, but if you go into Marissa's Kitchen, like above the apple bowl, there's a sign that says apples 59 cents. Like every,
that's right.
In her pantry, she puts signs everywhere.
I have my own Fearless flyer, of course.
Your own Fearless flyer when you walk in the front door. This is not a house where you're going to find live, laugh, and love.
No, you're getting handwritten signs that will emulate a chalkboard, but are actually Posca paint pens.
I love it. All right, so then now we get to a really, really pivotal point in this story, and it's the early 1960s. And Theo and Karl have this huge disagreement because they're trying to decide whether or not they should sell cigarettes in the store. Karl believes that tobacco products are bad and it's going to attract shoplifters, and he wants no part of it. Theo believes that it's actually going to bring in more foot traffic, more people will come there, and they'll make more money, and he wants it.
Gosh, how do I feel about that? Would you be pro cigarettes or not cigarettes in your Aldi?
I never know what I have talked about and what. I'm an ex-smoker, so I used to be a heavy smoker. I'm now almost 10 years smoke-free. So I've had two different, when I was a smoker, I'm all, smokers' rights. Yes, of course. Now as a non-smoker, like I encourage more taxes on cigarettes. I do think society as a whole, I feel like in Ohio, being where I am now, seeing people smoke is so much more common than in California. Like California has become very rare to see people outside smoking.
Yeah.
Here, not so rare at all.
Interesting.
It reminds me of when I used to live here. You just kind of forget that, different parts of the country are different. But I think CVS was one of the first big stores that decided to ban cigarettes, and I support it. I mean, I truly do not think there is one good thing. They're like mosquitoes. I don't think they serve any good purpose at all.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with nobody selling cigarettes.
Keeping out the riffraff, you say.
Keep out the animals. Get the animals out of here. If you don't know what that is, go listen to the In and Out episode. You'll have a really good time.
That's interesting. So they felt so strongly about this that it was like a fight.
It was a fight.
Wow.
So strongly about it, actually, that they were unable to come to an agreement, and they amicably split the business by region. So this split led to Theo owning all the cigarette carrying stores in North Germany called Aldi Node.
That's the cool place to go.
That's where I would have been in high school. And then as I got older, I would start shopping at Karl's stores in the South called Aldi Sud, S-U-D.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that, it may seem small, and maybe it was a bigger thing back then. It actually seems like an unusual thing back then it seems like in the 40s, like even in America up until like the 70s, maybe people are smoking on television shows.
We're like pediatricians, like smoking, like while like examining like a 9-month-old. Like I feel like my mom has a book on her bookshelf. She has so much trash, but she also has so many cool things. And she has a book that's called Safer Smoking. And it's like, it was clearly written from the perspective of like, I don't think anybody should smoke, but if you are going to, this is how to do it safer. It was like, that was like the way the conversation was moving. And it's like doctors would smoke, pregnant people would smoke. It was just, the culture was very different. So I'm surprised that was a really bold take at the time to be like anti-smoking.
I agree. Yeah, it definitely does not seem of the norm. And I don't know why I think this, but it feels like, especially in Germany, like I feel like every, like dogs in Germany were smoking. I feel like every walk of life, I just picture smoking in Germany.
Definitely. German Shepherd, puff, puff.
This is just completely random, but just to throw this in there, I got a pop-up on my computer while you were saying that from Fiona, one of our hardcore listeners who remembers everything about the show. And she just wrote, I don't know why, but Poppy was so heartwarming to me. Even though I don't drink it because I don't like carbonation. How cute is that?
It is really cute. Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah, so thank you for that, Fiona.
That was a feel-good moment.
So even all that aside, it really was the deal breaker that separated these guys. So, they both have plenty of stores in their camp, and at this point, both brothers are sitting on top of their own empires. And as we know, when success comes and when money comes, complications can come.
Mo money, mo problems, they say.
That's weird. That's what Theo was known for saying. That's what his tombstone said. Mo money, mo problems.
He is right.
So in 1971, Theo Albrecht was held at gunpoint and kidnapped for ransom.
Oh my God.
He was kept captive for 17 days in a wardrobe. And he was finally released.
Oh my God. Like an armoire?
Like an armoire. Like, can you imagine being in I can't imagine. I mean, I know I joke that I like to lay in bed. I was in bed for 2 days with this illness and was crawling out. I was like, I got to get out of the house. Get me out of
here. Yes.
Like day one, fine, because I slept all day. But like being awake, but still kind of like weak, like day two, I was like, I got to get out of bed. 17 days in an armoire?
That is crazy.
What and why was that their only
the only option?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we keep them in the back room? No.
I have rope. I have handcuffs. I have chains. Nope. And how is
Take
he
your
like?
Clothes out.
Yeah, take out all your dresses and hats.
Is
Are
he
they like
hanging?
Feeding like little like shreds of cheese like through like a little keyhole? Like how is he staying alive?
I don't know, but you're cheese obsessed. Your food always comes back to cheese.
I am really hungry.
All right, so he's in there. They keep him for 17 days until they finally get the ransom they want, which was 7 million Deutschmarks, which is about $2 million. And I got to be honest, I did not relook this up. I don't know if that was $2 million then or $2 million now.
Sometimes they're not clear, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of cheddar.
Babe, cheese. What is with you and cheese?
Mouse alert, squeak, squeak.
But what is funny, and who knows, with this stuff, I truly take it with a grain of salt because I do think stories change over time, especially in a situation like this where something bad happens to somebody and they're terrified, and then they get out and they're like, oh, yeah, man, but I was like, you know what? I was like Mr. Tough Guy in there.
I dug deep and I thought, I'm going to fight.
Yeah. So
you're meaning to say that you think that little wiener was like pissed in his pants. He was so scared. He was begging. He was.
Well, we'll get to it. I do definitely know that it affected him, but the rumors or the stories that have come out were that
he's a hero.
No, that he was so thrifty that he tried to haggle with the kidnappers to try to get them to lower the ransom.
Oh.
And after he got out, he tried to have the ransom count as a tax write-off, arguing that it was technically a business expense.
Oh my gosh, that is
And
hilarious.
one place said he was successful with that. I don't know. But these stories are clearly have just they're part of like the canon of how this is a discount store. These got discount and frugalness is ingrained in them.
Interesting.
All right. So the kidnappers, Paul, Crowan, and Hines. I love that.
Ooh, love that.
I love that I'm learning it. Allenberg, they were both arrested shortly after Theo's release because they had recordings of them and people recognized their voices. The recordings were played on the radio and people recognized their voices, and that's how they were able to be captured.
Oh, wow.
They were both sentenced to only 8.5 years in prison. I mean, I guess that's a long time since they didn't kill him. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, 8.5 years for putting a guy in a bin for 17 days.
I hope they were in a bin. I hope they were stuffed in a wardrobe. Chronicles
of Narnia. For the whole time?
Yeah,
or just 17
years.
Days. 8 years in a bin?
Yeah.
Bring out the wardrobe. So they're sentenced for 8.5 years, and the ransom money was never fully recovered. And to this day, 3.5 million Deutschmarks are still missing and rumored to be hidden somewhere in Switzerland. And now it is assumed it will likely never be found because both kidnappers passed away in 2017.
Like hidden where? Like in like a mountainside?
I don't know, but one,
oh my gosh.
I know it went by fast. I thought you might make a Swiss cheese joke because I brought up Switzerland. And two, girl, let's go to Switzerland.
Dying. Yeah, let's go.
We got to find 3.5 million Deutschmarks.
I mean, it's gorgeous. I've been talking about how I'm desperate to get to Switzerland. And also, like, feels like such like a good, reality show.
Yeah, on brand in Switzerland, looking for a treasure. We would be so good. I get to go to the Swatch factory.
I mean,
there's going to be an episode, like, I'll keep trying to get us there. And I see the clip for, like, next week's show. You're like, John, you just want to go to the Swatch factory. The money is not there. We have proof the money is not there.
I mean, my mouth would be so stuffed with Toblerones, I'd be happy as a clam. Happy.
You know, if I remember correctly, someone can Google it and tell me if I'm wrong, they had to take the Swiss mountains off the Toblerone logo because it's not made in Switzerland all the time anymore.
Well, I'm eating the ones that are. let's just say.
So you're just eating the ones that they make in like Fontana, California.
Yeah, no, I want the ones with the mountains. I'm going to Switzerland.
You're like, it still tastes like the Swiss. Okay, so now here's where it's a little sad. Theo was so emotionally traumatized from the kidnapping, he became very withdrawn from the public and doing any public appearances. He went to great lengths to avoid having his picture taken.
Oh my gosh.
He started driving an armored car. He started having the car take him different routes to work every single day. It really just with him.
Yeah, of course. So that's quite traumatic. PTSD.
Because I was writing this and I'm like, I hadn't found that part of it. I pull from multiple sources. So sometimes I piece this story together slowly. So I didn't have that chunk of it yet. So I had originally gone from like, so after the kidnapping, he heads to America and does this. And then I was like, oh my God, I could not be more wrong. And why do I assume like everything's good? Like he like is like traumatized. And then I tried to put myself in his place. I was like, can you imagine just being in a box for 17 days? Like with people like threatening to kill you and like take your fortune?
I mean, you in a past life were chained in a dungeon and you're still reeling.
Well, I don't know if I was in a dungeon, but it was underground and it was brutal. It's why, you know, I do think that is part of the reason why I like bags so much as in this life.
Okay.
Because in that life, I wasn't allowed to really have anything. And I learned from the Amish that pockets and bags are a sign of wealth because it means you have possessions you can carry. So I think part of me wants to feel like I can own things in this life.
It's true. You also like pockets.
I love pockets.
Like your little pocket on your hat, your little pocket on your shoes.
My shoes. I like pockets with zippers on them because I'm worried about my belongings being taken away from me again.
Like your childhood was stolen in your past life.
Yeah, it all makes sense. You say I'm complicated and weird, but once you get all my lives laid down in a map, like in, I don't know, Game of Thrones style, it will all make sense.
We're going to have to, I got to find that past life woman's business card. We might have to go back in and see if we can untangle a bit more, find another life.
We should record that and do it as an episode. We should do that for Halloween. Oh my God.
So embarrassing. That would be really, because we would be like weeping and people would be like, they are crazy.
I did cry, but not out of sadness. It was just emotional.
It's fun. It's just fun to reflect. The world is quite mysterious. Okay. Don't act like y'all got it all figured out.
Yeah, you don't all have it figured out. And I know some of you I know for sure at least one of you bought 4 of those bags yourself because you told us on Discord. I know we all got our things.
That's right. So he's struggling. He's having a tough time. The time in the bureau was rough.
Yes, it was very rough. And then this starts to affect Karl too. And he also starts to become more withdrawn. And it got to the point that they would rarely ever appear in public. They would turn down awards and ceremonies where they were being offered things. They even like recognition. At one point, they offered to name a street, Aldi, in the town that they started the company in. They didn't go to that.
Oh my gosh.
They just kind of became recluses.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, but even though their personal lives changed, they are on top of these very large companies. So those had to continue. So now we're going to cut to, this is 5 years after the kidnapping. We're in late March of 1976. And Giant Foods, which if you're not familiar with, that was a big grocery store. I don't know if they're still around. They may very well be. But Giant Foods was one of the big grocery store players of the time. They had a big store in Iowa City, Iowa, and it abruptly closed for renovation. And a little less than like 3 weeks later, it reopened as the very first Aldi in the United States.
Wow.
And I couldn't figure out if this was a strategy or if this was coincidence, but America at this time was recovering from a 16-month recession. They had really high unemployment. They had really high inflation. So having places of discount was very much wanted and very much needed. So it was a really smart time to enter this economy, whether I'm assuming they must know that. I don't know why I'm like, they're probably too stupid to know this. I piece this together. They probably figured out, hey, now's the time to strike America.
I mean, it helps. It's helpful to lay it out historically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
They wanted discount stores, but Aldi was like something they had never seen before. And again, we got to put ourselves back. 1976, for some of us, not me, it feels like it was yesterday, but it was 50 years ago. So it was a very different time, even in the grocery store world. But so Aldi felt that they were so unique. This would kind of remind me of Shark Tank. Like Shark Tank is like, you're going to have to explain to them what your product is. They felt like they really had to explain to the public what they were and why they were able to sell things for so cheap. So they run an ad in the newspaper called 10 Reasons Why Aldi Sells for Less.
Smart.
And
I love that.
these were the 10 points that they had. We don't have bags. You're going to bring your own bag. Us not buying bags will help. We don't have to charge you for bags. We don't have to put that into the food. We don't take checks. When you take checks, you have to pay processing fees and all that. You're going to bring your cash only. We don't have perishables, very few. Anything that needs refrigeration. Why? Refrigerators are really expensive and electric bills are really expensive. We don't have to pass that on to you.
Wow.
We don't have fancy shelving. We're going to set everything out in the cartons that the food came in. It means that we don't have to buy shelving. We don't offer overtime or working on Sundays, so we don't have to pay employees any more than their normal salary. We don't have fancy floors. I thought that one was kind of funny. We don't have to spend a lot of time cleaning our floors.
Was it like a barn? Was it like...
Yeah, basically.
How fancy are we talking? Was
This
the
one I
standard
thought-
grocery store floor at that time?
So, 20 years earlier, some of the grocery stores, they were carpeted.
Oh my
which
God,
seems
that's true. Yeah.
so chaotic to have a
Yes.
carpeted grocery store. It's like
Insane.
a carpeted bathroom.
Ugh.
And this one I thought was interesting. They put no prices on products. And I started to think about it. So that means they don't have to buy the stickers. They don't have to buy the guns for it. They don't have to pay the people the time it takes to put the stickers on it.
Cha-chunk, cha-chunk, cha-chunk. That's time.
Cha-chunk. I always wanted, was there anything
seems
better
fun.
when you're shopping at the grocery store and you come across a rogue pricer? Have you ever done that?
No.
It's happened-
I
Oh,
would
you
die.
haven't?
No, I would die.
Like,
I would love it.
I feel like that's happened to me at least 5 times. Or like Target, like someone's left their like weird little
I mean,
Targets.
I'm not like looking for them.
Well, I'm not. I mean, I don't have any in the storage unit that I
okay.
remember.
If you found one of those, you would like start pricing stuff?
No, but it's just, I don't know. It's so dumb. It's like the grocery store equivalent of seeing like a behind the scenes thing of your favorite movie. You're like, oh, cool.
Oh,
So I get
cool.
That's how it works.
Have you ever cha-chunked one just to get that feeling?
Oh, I've cha-chunked. I used to cha-chunk when I worked at a record store.
Okay, yeah. So it does seem really fun, satisfying.
I've gone through plenty of cha-chunking. Yeah, it's fun until they get jammed, but that's not what this show's about.
Ain't that the truth, honey?
So if you're not going to price everything, what are you going to do? Make signs like we were just talking about. So they're making signs for products. They also offered, I thought this was interesting and maybe confusing and not fun to use, price sheets at the front of the store. So like you just get a sheet of paper that has every item that they sell listed with its price. So you can like, I just feel
and it's
like
you do your math. Like
This
that
is
feels like
you-
that would take
that's-
so long.
That's the you in 1977. You're like, I don't work here. Like, you tell me how much it is. Why am I on this grid?
Beyond, absolutely. I'm mad that we have to like figure out how many taxes we owe. It's like, you tell me. I don't work for the IRS. I'm just living my life.
I can't tell you. If they would just say, John, you owe us $200.
Right.
You owe us $1,000.
And if you want to then like do some deductions or whatever, that's on you. But just tell me what the sticker price is.
Tell me your base, and then I know. Just tell me.
Tell me
the least I can pay you, where I don't have to think about you.
because they know. Because they tell you
They
if you
know.
didn't pay the right amount. It's like
They're
a
like,
quiz.
I know. TikTok
It makes no
again.
sense.
This comedian, he made the funniest video about that where he's trying to do his taxes, and it's like, oh, but you know, and they're like, yeah, but you won't tell me. No, you have to go home for a weekend and figure it all out.
Pay somebody $350 to figure it out for you.
They want $700 now to do my taxes. I have
You're kidding.
one 1099.
Oh my God.
I can't talk about it. This is the last thing that stressed me out. Taxes are done now when you're listening to this, but they're due in 5 days.
Unreal.
They have no fancy fixtures, less investment.
So you're shuffling around like in the dark on a dirt floor, squinting at a price sheet to see how much you owe. These prices better be damn good.
They are. I'm almost done with the 10. They have faster checkout that with electronic cash registers really help them get people out
Okay.
faster and little to no advertising.
Great.
Now, the store also only carried 450 items. Just to give you a little context, a current modern day Aldi sells about 1,300 to 1,800. So it was a third of the size of a store of today.
I see.
Your average Walmart today sells over 100,000 items, and your average large grocery store sells about 40,000. So it's
too much.
tiny.
It's
too basically
much.
like my storage unit is what it is.
Really.
It's like you go shopping. I give you a sheet of paper when you walk in. I'm like, Peeps pillows are in the back. 75 tote bags are over here.
75. Okay, we're getting warmer.
Somewhere between 8 and 75.
I'm at, okay, I'll ask one follow-up question about the tote bag. Did you just take a box that wasn't opened? Like, did he have the box cutter and he was opening bags to put them on the shelf and you were just like, how much for the pallet?
I would rather do that than what I did. I went back into that. I think I went back in that store 3 times without ever moving my car. I had this weird meltdown.
That's why you
panic.
have a glove box full of mustaches.
Yes, I have to go with as many different people. Oh, God, I'm psychotic. This is why I don't like sharing. I'm going to quit the pod.
No, we love
Episode
it. We love
101.
it. We support you. We love it. We
The
support
final
you.
pod. Yeah, and funny, I mean, obviously this is more recently, but the Walmart CEO did describe Aldi as being fierce and good and clever.
Cool.
And so this is like, I bring up Shark Tank twice. I don't know why. This time it's in my notes. The last one wasn't. But we hear from Shark Tank a lot, like someone's got a juice or something that they have something that they want to go in the grocery store. And they talk about how hard it is to get shelf space, how hard grocery stores are. It's still the same then. I'm sure it's not as bad as it is now. But there's a lot of big grocery stores at the time. You've got like Kroger and all these big players. So when you have this new guy coming in, of course, they're going to be like, that's it. You'll never make it. This is a bad idea. We're the cool, we're the smokers in town. You're the non-smoker.
It's a very pat on the head. Good luck, sweetie.
Right. It's very condescending. And Charles Fitzmaurice, who is the president of Aldi Benner, which is the company that is doing this at the time, was quoted saying, "I know the industry doesn't believe it is going to be successful, but naturally I'm convinced it'll work. It's the first new merchandising idea since the supermarket was introduced in 1932, but it's too early to say whether it will succeed or not. It will take about a year to prove who is right."
Wow.
And actually, it took less than a year. 6 months later, the store closed. But it wasn't really because of what they were doing. It was because I mentioned before, I think it was a giant brand grocery store
that they had inhabited.
Yeah, so they were paying for more space than they needed. They didn't have enough items for the store.
Sure, I mean that's the whole thing is like low inventory. What are you doing in a giant place? Yes.
Yeah, it's like moving a 7-Eleven into a Walmart. It's just they didn't need it. So they did end up returning to a site near that same intersection in 1985 and currently operate a store close to that as recently as 2014. I assume that it's still there. So it wasn't about that, but I did think it was funny that I put those two pieces together. That he's like, it's going to take us a year to see. And then like another article is like, the store closed in less than 1 year.
Oh yeah. Time told. Time will tell and then time told.
Time will tell and time told. So another thing that I thought was funny, and it said that this was revealed by, in quotes, grocery executive who wished to remain unidentified. This is from an article in 1977. I just love that they're like, I'm willing to talk about Aldi, but you cannot say who I am. Like,
I will not be on the record speaking about Aldi. How weird.
I could be wrong, but that feels movie worthy.
Oh, definitely. It's like there's more to this story than meets the eye. Dig deeper, guys.
So what he was referring to was, listen, I should have done a reenactment for this. I regret not doing a reenactment for this.
You were ill.
He's like, listen, don't put me on the record, but this Aldi thing, we're going to start carrying store brand items too, because clearly people are enjoying being able to buy these store brand things in the store. We're still going to carry the name brands, but the way that we see it, the way Big Grocery sees it, is if we carry, let's call it, I don't know, generic brands, then customers can get the best of both worlds, and they'll come to our store and they won't have to go to Aldi. They'll just come to us. See, my name's Bill Smith, but don't put that. Don't tell them that it's Bill Smith. Okay, there's your reenactment. That was my improv reenactment.
Wow.
I'll put some music to that.
That's juicy.
Yeah, so this was the beginning of generic foods, which I never thought of before. And I don't feel like maybe this is more of our time, my childhood. Generic food had a moment. Like when I was a kid, it was kind of like, when I was a kid, Gen X, I gotta say, was a little rougher. It was like, everything's kind of like washed down now. But it was like, if you ate generic food, you're poor. If you ate brand food, you're not poor. And that's how we saw generic food. I don't even know if people use that term anymore. There's just like store brands and different private labels and
yeah, I would
things
agree
like
with that. I think there used to be a big stigma around store brands. There were even like commercials that would be on, I think in the 90s, talking about the bags of cereal that were like are at the floor level in the grocery store. Do you remember this commercial?
I don't remember the commercial, but I gotta say, as a kid, as a teen, as a adult, I've always found the giant bags of cereal. No. Okay, so now we have Aldi in America. They're starting to plant their roots and figure out their place in this country. But another grocery store had started about 10 years earlier in California, a specialty grocery store that would not only be known for its constantly changing products and terrible parking and its viral mini totes, a little store that we lovingly call Trader Joe's.
Wow.
So Trader Joe's opened its first doors in Pasadena, California in 1967. So it's about exactly 10 years before Aldi hit Iowa. By 1979, they had 19 stores and a very nice loyal following. And Theo Albrecht, seeing this as a good investment for his family, bought Trader Joe's. So now we have both brothers coming to America within like 3 years of each other. We've got Karl digging in deep with Aldi, and we have Theo coming in really strong, not having to open just one store. He immediately has 19 stores on the West Coast and owns Trader Joe's. And this is where I feel like this is one of those things I heard confusion about before I did this show. Everyone would always be like, doesn't Aldi own Trader Joe's? Like, aren't they related? They're the same. It is a really unique situation. They have identical origin stories. The same mom, had the same brothers. They are these two brothers. Those companies are completely separate. They have it's like Pepsi and Coke. They don't interact. They have no dealings with each other.
It's just so funny. It's like, what are the odds? Like, it is just so weird.
I do think this is a movie. I do think Matt Damon is Theo. Oh, Matt Damon. Can you imagine Matt Damon getting, oh my God, his clip for the Oscars after being being inside the wardrobe? This is what he needs. I don't need him to be like an action hero anymore or owning a zoo. I need to see him sweating in a box.
Get in that armoire.
Get in that armoire. Okay, so we have both brothers here, like I said, and they're both doing their own thing. And I'm not going to bother going into Trader Joe's because we will absolutely because I will want to steal it, do a Trader Joe's episode at some point.
You've earned it at this point. You've earned it with your totes.
Okay, so that's the history of these two things. I'll talk a little bit about Aldi today. Their mission statement, it's not their statement, but their mission is really to get people in and out as fast as possible without spending a lot of money. How are they going to do that? They expect their customers to do things that they may not do in another grocery store. As you probably heard, if you haven't, to get a shopping cart at Aldi, you have to stick a quarter in the shopping cart to release it.
This was a weird one. When we got there, we were very confused. We were like, am I buying this shopping cart? And am I renting it? Like, what is this fee? It was really weird.
Cut to me having that shopping cart in the unit.
Probably, sure.
I gave you a quarter. I technically bought this. I mean, you basically stick a quarter in, it releases it. When you're done, you put the cart back and it pushes your quarter out.
So they're saving money on the cart retrievers that you would pay to have in the parking lot.
Well, they're spending money on people having to spend time to get the carts back. But carts themselves, I remember seeing this years ago, is a whole industry. Like,
really?
Some grocery stores will pay $20, $50, $100 if you return a cart to them.
Oh my gosh,
because I guess they're very expensive. So they're, at least in LA, you used to see, I don't feel like I see it as much anymore, people driving around with trucks collecting carts to go return it and get like $1,000.
Oh, interesting. A lot of them now have that like lock on the foot, which I find very annoying because sometimes it's a grocery store that shares something else is in that parking lot. Sometimes the grocery store part of the parking lot is full, so you have to like park in front of like a RIP Joann's Fabrics. If your cart goes too far, that little like boot comes on the wheel and you can't push it any further. And boy, I am stewing.
I will stew like nobody's business. I don't know what I hate worse. I think I do know what I hate worse. I do. There's two ways that they try to stop me. One, I am never going to steal a cart. I will take a lot of weird things. I'll steal a basket. I do think I probably have a Trader Joe's basket.
Are you kidding?
Somewhere at some point I probably took it for like a sketch or something. But trying to get to my car, like a lot of times I've mentioned recently, I park on the street. I don't always park in the parking lot. A lot of the times you cannot take that cart very far into the street and then it just stops and it makes me insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The other one, which I've decided I do hate more, is when you're in a CVS. I don't know if these are everywhere, if it's just a California thing, 'cause maybe we have more crime. The giant 9-foot pole in the cart. So like you literally can't get out the front door. And it's like you just have stuff. You're like, oh, do. And then it's like, I just abandon it here. It's like, sorry, old friend, thanks for the last 20 minutes. We've had a good trip. And then I just have to like gather everything in my arms and
like
take it out
loose.
to the car.
Yeah, carrying stuff loose. I know, carts are really intense. I guess, the Aldi thing is pretty genius. I'd say I'm good about putting the cart back where it belongs 99% of the time. If there's one time where it's like there's just too much shit going on, the kids are going crazy, whatever, I'll find a good spot to tuck it. But 99% of the time, I'm returning that cart back where it belongs.
I'm 100% the same. Not 100, very close, and usually some sort of I'm stewing incident.
Sometimes shit goes down and you just got to do what you got to do to survive.
Yeah. If you want a bag, I mean, this is normal here anyway, but if you want a bag, you're going to have to pay for it. Another thing they do, which I was not familiar with, is you'll love this. You have to bag your own groceries, but you can't bag them there. They just put them back in your cart, and then you have to go like 4 feet away to like a little bagging table and bag them yourself because they need to keep people going through the line. They do not want you there.
Get in, get out.
And then they also don't have non-essential services. They don't have things like banking or pharmacies. You're never going to find like a Starbucks at an Aldi. It's just like clean. They only stock about 1,400 items current day, like I said, because they only want to stock the most popular items. They really want people to just get in there, get what they need, and go. Every store has the same layout, so you can go to any Aldi.
Really funny.
It doesn't matter. I've been here before, and you just get it done.
It's definitely the one grocery store where I feel like they're mad at me. It's like they want you in and out.
I don't know. For me, it kind of works. It's like they care about me, but they're going to leave me alone too, which I like both of those things.
My impression of it was that it would be kind of like a version of Trader Joe's, meaning I thought the things that would be similar as, you have like a lot of your in-house brands. You have like a cozy atmosphere. Trader Joe's is always giving you free samples where you look for Chewy. It's a Chewy, a Coyote. I think it's different for every store. There's a little stuffed animal that's hiding in the store. You get that. You get a lollipop. All things that are encouraging you to stay.
Well, it's funny you say that. I was going to do this at the end of the show because I had a silly little sentence to set it up, but I'll go into this now. So, yes, I think that is kind of like Trader Joe's is good about putting out new products and making like people making impulse purchases. And that's not really what Aldi is about, except for one aisle, the aisle of shame.
I remember this, yeah.
So every Aldi has one aisle, which is, it's technically known as Aldi Finds.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a food aisle. It's basically an impulse aisle. And the way I was looking at it is impulse items have been around forever. You go to an early grocery store or grocery store today, you're checking out, they're trying to give you candy, gum, magazines.
Mm-hmm.
Let me grab them. Then I feel like that kind of grew a little bit. You go now to like World Market, you go to TJ Maxx, you go to Marshall's, you have to wait in like a 14-foot aisle with bottle openers and oils and candles and other things that maybe you thought about in the store, but now you have to stand here for 10 minutes. You have a better chance of grabbing them and go.
For sure. You're in a labyrinth, yes.
You're in a labyrinth. I feel like this aisle of shame just takes all that and kicks it up a notch because you literally never know what you're going to find in there. One day you might be in there and there's a beach cooler with a radio in it. Or you find like a 3-pack of like wired flowers that you're going to stick in your garden and they're going to rust and look shitty in 6 months. You're going to find like a bucket hat for your dog. You're going to find...
Did you get like a keychain or something?
I did. I got us both keychains. They were selling keychains that you could keep 1 quarter in just because it went with you keep it on your keychain, so you always have a quarter to get your shopping cart. That's really cute.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I feel like that was really shocking when we first walked in, seeing like this industrial lighting, these like open pallets and crates of just like loose food, and then being like, why is there like a ping pong table for sale like right at the entrance? It's like, what is this place? This is so weird.
But then you're also like $39 for a ping pong table. Okay.
Yeah, and now I kind of really want to go back.
I know, I do too. You know, and so it's doing really well now. Foodinstitute.com had a poll at the end of 2022, and Aldi was the #1 grocery store among U.S. adults with a popularity score of 65%.
Wow.
The German discount chain has become a household name in the United States, receiving a fame score, I don't know exactly what that is, of 91%. And what's interesting, I think, is stores only have about 15 or 20 employees. They don't, again, it's all about frugalness. Yep.
Wow. That's crazy.
More than 90% of everything they sell is packaged under an Aldi brand. And those are some of those names I gave you earlier, the Kirkwood and Fit and Active and Baker's Treat. They're all like AI names of like, give me a name of like a cookie company that hasn't been used. And even though we've kind of mentioned this, the names are unfamiliar. Most all of them are created by large U.S. food producers. And according to Aldi, this allows them to have control over its products and to meet strict quality standards at a much lower cost.
Great.
So much so that Aldi has won over 2,000 various awards over the last 8 years, and last year alone won top honors in 5 categories in the Product of the Year awards, including a Best Bread, Best Cooking Essential, a Best Juice, a Best Pasta, and a Best Wine.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I want to actually explore it more because I do think it is kind of, especially with what everyone's going through financially right now, or a lot of people are, I'm all about frugalness and finding great things at great prices. I myself personally am going to go on an Aldi push right now.
I would like to go to Aldi, and I feel like I need to do a little bit of homework before and find out like what are like the best like 15 things, because it is a little overwhelming to go in a store like this where you don't recognize any of the brands and just to kind of like blindly shop. You need a little bit of guidance. So if anybody's listening, I'm curious to hear our listeners' thoughts. Is Aldi one of your go-to places? What are your favorite things there? And then we can go and we can shop your shopping lists.
Well, going along with that, with what you just said, it was in my fun facts, but I'll just make it fun right now.
Sounds fun.
Aldi did win a peanut butter cup blind taste test, beating not only Trader Joe's, but Reese's peanut butter cup. So,
wow. Okay.
And that says a lot, because I don't think there's many things better than a Reese's peanut butter cup.
We have to try it. And the Trader Joe's, of all the things that they don't do well, the peanut butter cups are one of their strong suits. So I am definitely going to have to try this.
The peanut butter cups are very good. And then, I mean, kind of lastly, even after the Albrecht brothers became very rich men, they never showed it. They lived very frugally. Even when Theo died, his obituary in The Guardian noted that he always wore cheap, ill-fitting suits and used pencils down to the stub, even though he could afford easily the best of everything. Theo died in 2010. Karl passed away in 2014, leaving behind a fortune worth an estimated $38.8 billion, all from a mother-opened tiny little grocery store in Germany in 1913.
Wow.
almost 100 years later to the day. Amazing. Oh my God, that's crazy. $38 billion. I love it.
What a journey.
Like them, their heirs are often very reluctant to step into the public eye. However, they have been making headlines recently due to fights over the massive fortune the Aldi founders left behind, because of course they did, because that's what heirs do. I can't tell you how much I hate heirs and want to be an heir at the same time.
It's what we said at the beginning. Mo money, mo problems. Though I do think you and I could handle it.
I know I could. Cut to me just buying the tote factory. God, that's a full
dying
circle
under
moment.
a pile of totes.
Okay, so that's what I have on Aldi. I have one tiny little fun fact because I gave all the rest of them out during the show. I just thought this was interesting. Another way that they try to speed things up when you're shopping, you may notice that your products have giant barcodes. They put those on there so that the cashiers don't have to look for barcodes. You know how sometimes they're like looking around for them? It's just like, just put it down. It'll scan it because their barcodes are so big. I just like that they're always thinking of ways to get people out of there faster than anyone else.
So funny. In and out is the name of the game. I love that.
Well, there's Aldi. So now that you've heard a little bit more about it, would you say Aldi's on brand or off brand for you?
You know, I definitely was curious after we went, and now I'm just dying to go back. It's a baby Costco. They have fun stuff in the aisle of shame, and the food, the quality is great. I'm curious to try some of these award-winning products. It's on brand for me. Hard on.
You know what? I'm not even going to say, I'm not going to go into it. It is a hard-on brand for me as well. And you know what? This just popped in my head. I'm going to challenge both of us. Sometime in the next month, we'll pick a date. We have to give each other a gift from the Isle of Shame. We have to find something in the Isle of Shame that we think the other one will like and present each other.
Challenge accepted. That's great.
Perfect. I love it. Well, I would normally do our Freaks of the Week, but this has kind of been a weird week, and I've been traveling for 2 weeks, and we're recording out of order, so I don't have that this week. I will get to anyone that guessed the Insta Eggs. I'll put them all together and get a Freak of the Week, but again, like I said on the 100th episode, you're all Freaks of the Weeks. You really are, but I know that people like doing that, so we'll get to that. But if you're not familiar, every week on Wednesdays, I post an Insta Egg, which is a little puzzle that allows you to figure out what our episode is going to be about. If you solve that puzzle, you get a little freak badge that I send you, and then you get your name added to our Wheel of Freaks, and then I spin that, and I pick 5 Freaks of the Week. So if you're not following us on Instagram, please do, and even if you are, be sure to get our notifications when we post a story, and I know some of you do that because you guessed that Insta Egg within 1 second of me posting it. So be sure to get those, and you'll never miss any of our posts. And also check out our main feed because, like I said, we put supplemental material of every episode we do. So you'll be able to see pictures of the Albrecht. You'll be able to see all these fun imagery. There's some really neat ones from Aldi. So it usually comes out within a week of us doing the show. So please follow us on Instagram.
That's right. Instagram is at OnBrandThePod. TikTok is at OnBrandThePodcast. Next week, we'll be back in person. We won't be remote anymore. John will be healthy. We're all good. So thank you so much. If we seemed tired or this episode was lacking in any way, we appreciate your patience. Things will be back to your regularly scheduled programming soon. And with that, we'll be back next week with an all-new episode.
And remember, guys, we may go off topic, but we'll always be on brand.
Bye.
Bye.